Is alert off, and we're all off. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, Wealth Wellness Wednesday, in the middle of the week on this, trying to just second week, full week of June. Good morning, everyone. This is Carol Sue, aka Nani Boss, live with two
sisters. Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 6.0, on this June 14th, which of course is also Flag Day, and a very happy birthday to President Trump. And Flag Day, as I said, and you know, when I think of Flag Day, I always think of do you remember when we put up our new flagpole in the front yard?
Yes.
And Daddy proudly standing on Flag Day and saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and it always gets me.
Yeah, it's there's something about seeing that red, white, and blue, stars and stripes. And ironically, what you were talking about the other day, I finally got an alert and I saw a video of what was occurring on the White House with the flag you were making reference. And a lot of people don't realize that our flag is reverence of our country, right? So we do have protocols and rules in place for a reason. Protocols should always be upheld, but when they're not even upheld at the people's house, that is a taint to our country as a whole. We should not have to remind those that are in charge, remind those that are in office, and remind anyone, any staff member, anyone that's connected with the people's house of those conditions. They're non-negotiable of how we raise our flag, why we have that. There's a reason for that. And when I actually saw the pride flag displayed prominent against our own flag, I was mortified. Now, you can't even say from a production piece, because let's face it, all these things that are done in a big way, there's a production team that is doing that. So you've got multiple misfails that no one caught it, even when it was upset. No, it's not supposed to be that way. You got to bring it down. You got to whatever. There are no check and balances is the theme of what's going on in the White House to prevent these very embarrassing situations. That being said, I guess I could go the route of saying it was a mishap, although they happen way too often. At some point, you got to be accountable that people are not doing their jobs to know something as important as that. But to witness transgenders, gays, lesbian and or gay, transgender, whatever, displaying half-naked bodies, running around, and in one particular transgender who has gone full, has done the full surgery, so has operated based boobs, shaking them. And I want to be clear. I really want to be clear on that. If I was to see someone heterosexual running around naked, remember the naked days where you would have, what they call them? Streakers, run around. And yeah, you're like, you laugh at it because they would do it at a stadium. Didn't happen often. It was appalling, but people would get a little kooky over it and laugh, because who in the right mind would do that at a stadium, right? Run across the field and then they get thrown out and they're thrown out for life. But you have multiple people. And I'll tell you what, this act that happened at the White House is not only tainted forever. Imagine children visualizing that moment, or those that fought, to protect our people's house. So this has nothing to do with, because you're going to get those bangers out there, those bangers that, hear a buzzword and it freaks them out. That will say, call people that call them out as homophobic and all the other verbs, adjectives, everything they want to add, right? The bottom line, that it should never be tolerated. That was a stain on the people's house, like one of the most egregious thing to do at our people's house. And I'm glad that the gay and lesbian community that are gays against groomers are speaking loud about it, and rightfully so. Where people come together is through common bond when it comes to children, what children should be exposed to, and then it's elevated to another degree of what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. That kind of behavior, and I do not care whether it's an adult, is never appropriate on the people's house. There are certain buildings, there are certain places that, reverence should be always respected. And along with trying to kill our country off, but in spirit, in stress, when the buzz term a few years ago was a constitutional crisis. Remember that? Every reporter, every newscaster had the same line, blah, 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 blah. This is a constitutional crisis. Every liberal, constitutional crisis. This, what was seen on our White House, is a constitutional crisis. It is an insurrection act of maniacs that think that they could flaunt their junk all over the White House lawn. And shame, shame, shame on this administration. That is a stain and a video I would like to be able to unwind, delete out of my brain. And I'm disgusted with Lion Biden. I'm disgusted with this administration. I'm disgusted that they stained the people's house.
Well said, and not only a constitutional crisis, but a morally ethical violation on so many different levels. I had to look at that a couple times because I wasn't sure, like, is this fake? Wait a minute, what's going on here? Until I did some digging, and I probably looked at that video around 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, oh my God, this person, I think the person's name is Rachel Montoya, and I may have messed the name up. But right before that, she's taking a selfie with the guy occupying 1600, and then shortly thereafter, this incident occurred, and I was like, I can't believe I'm witnessing this. There's
witnessing it. Let's be real. That administration is applauding groomers. These are predators. These are preying on children, and they're groomers. And we have a sick individual who grooms himself and insinuates his body and his head and sniffing people, petting children inappropriately. There's too much documentation out there to deny that fact. So anyone that says that that's going on or never did happen, go see psychiatric help, because it's happened.
It's out there. It is out there in full view for everyone to see. I mean, you can do your own research, and I always say, don't take what I'm saying. Take what I'm saying and do your own due diligence, do your own research. Like I just cannot believe what I was seeing, that this was happening at 1600. I was flabbergasted. And I guess in many ways, I still am, of course, over many things, happening. And there's a time and a place for everything. Even if I wouldn't attend something like that, if let me back up a little bit. If I am offended by something, that's on me. That's not on anybody else.
Correct.
So I have the opportunity to tune it out, turn it off, not even go.
Correct.
There, I've said it.
Exactly. And, again, this does not mean we're prudes. This does not mean, whatever. It's, again, it's about what is appropriate, what is not appropriate. Can you imagine that same shista happening, say in England at the palace? Wouldn't happen. Can you imagine that happening inside of, big cathedral in Rome? Not gonna happen. Can you, the streets of New York? Oh yeah, I'm sure. California dreaming, it's happening. And in many places. We know that. It's out there. But there are certain places you just do not. And it's common sense. Doesn't take a genius to figure that out. Furthermore, like you said, taking selfies with another predator, because that's what I think of the person occupying the house, the predator, not just in a sexual manner, but he's a predator to every citizen in our country, as far as I'm concerned, with his ideologies and his corruption and all those other things. To really stain the people's house in the manner of which it was done, like I still can't get that vision out of my head. And I just, people say, get over it. It's not that the person was naked, number one. I've seen naked people before.
Half naked, I would say.
Half naked, whatever.
Yeah.
So the point being, I don't care whether the person, didn't have the bottoms off, on, whatever. I would not want to see a heterosexual person, because everyone jumps on that bandwagon. You've got these BS, or, the body is beautiful. Doesn't mean that the body is not beautiful. What it does mean is you have no self-control. It means that you have no respect. Not only do you not have respect for yourself, you don't have respect for your country. You don't have respect that children might see that nonsense. So yeah. And I thought it was ironic, of course, to have that up during the week that we know what is today is Flag Day, that you put up a pride flag. Is there a heterosexual flag out there? I'm just asking that question. Is there, we know that there's Black Lives Matter flags, which they've displayed before. And I believe it was at the White House that they had a black, and I could be wrong. It may have been somewhere else. But I'm tired of these props. Can we be done with the props? Do I see, for Valentine's Day, do I see a big heart flag up there? No. Do I see for St. Patty's Day, which is a big holiday? Everyone's Irish on St. Patty's Day. Do you see a, leprechaun flag, which also includes a rainbow? And then the fact that Pride as a whole have kidnapped the rainbow theme, from the Christian belief of what that really means. So they just keep, keep hijacking things left and right with the people occupying the space at our people's house, and they utilize it for their own disgusting and egregious behavior. So if someone were to say, oh, so you think lesbians and gays are disgusting? No, I don't. I have many gay friends. I have many lesbian friends that agree with me. They don't speak out, a lot of them, just like heterosexuals don't speak out about it, because they don't want to deal with the harassment. They do not want to deal with people harassing them with push button and buzzwords, because that's all they got. They don't have any facts with them. So they say, well, okay, well, we're not going to beat them by facts. We're not going to beat them by the truth. So let's aggravate the crap out of them by using buzzwords that is now going to incite, violence and or a nasty conversation. That's how they operate. They want to get at your mindset. They want to get at your health and wellness. That's how they're operating. It's a nasty machine that they have got going. Again, my feelings on transgender, the word transgender in itself is a buzzword, because there is a medical condition, which we've talked about before, so I'm not going to rehash that, called gender dysphoria. It is a real medical condition. So call it what it is. Don't call it a buzzword. Call it gender dysphoria. That is what it is. Just like you have a young girl or boy that looks malnutrition, you're not going to call them skinny. They have anorexia. They suffer from the mental illness anorexia. They need psychiatric help. They need support. They need medical intervention to get their body to be able to sustain calories again. These are medical conditions. And how sad that our poor American flag had to be treated the way it was.
Oh, yeah. And, as far as a Twitter update on that, I saw that that particular person has officially been banned from 1600. And of course, that person is saying, oh, it wasn't illegal. I don't care if it was illegal. I don't care if it was illegal. Yeah, you have the right to do that. Not at the people's house, period. Wrong place to do that. You want to do that at your house? You want to do that somewhere else? Like, I don't care what you do, but, as in our family, and of course, many families that have people who have served in the armed services. Yeah, I took a big offense to that, and even more so thinking of, thinking of our dad and the sacrifices that he made. And, everybody that we know, our brothers, brother-in-law, our cousin, Ronnie Taxer. Wasn't he a general? I don't remember.
He was a colonel.
A colonel. Okay, so colonel.
A colonel, yes. Or, he is a colonel. He's retired. He's a retired colonel, yeah.
So,
but I mean, it's a disgrace. And, it is sad. Like I'm not even sure that, everyone refers to what's going on in our world like we're a clown world. I'm not even sure a circus is even appropriate at this point. I think it's deviant. I think we've sunk into a really dark place. And I really think it really boils down to we are battling evil at this point, pure evil. And that's what we're up against. And we know that the devil, gets into your brain, takes over, giving you poor choices. That's the devil doing his dirty deed. And you have to fight really hard to resist that by doing goodness and positive and those things. But, we are dealing with pure evil. That there's no other description of what, like circus doesn't even, describe what's happening anymore. In the beginning, maybe, but it's beyond a circus. We are in the depths of hell. We really are.
And ironic that you mentioned the devil, because all I could think of was that song, "The Devil Went Down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal." The devil was at 1600.
Yep. And it's, again, just beyond egregious.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yes, it certainly was. And why don't we do a brief summary on Wealth Wellness Wednesday before we sign off?
Absolutely. Well, Wealth Wednesday, we got to quickly change our mindset, and that's how positivity works. You think of good things that are within your control. We can't control the nut jobs that, incite themselves on our people's house, and we can't control the wacky noodle and the evil master that's, occupying and having a nice little nap most of the time. But we can control what we do by doing good acts of kindness. Wealth Wellness Wednesday is really about putting out the positivity, number one, really showcasing the ability of an entrepreneurial and or a 9-to-5 person to understand, to have that healthy relationship with money. A lot of people are like, I'll talk about that old money. The bottom line is, having more money is an ability that can be utilized to impact others in a positive way. Wouldn't it be nice if we could all just get that checkbook out, not think twice about someone, from the community or someone from the church saying, hey, we need a new boiler, or we need this, or we've got to, we're not handicap accessible anymore. We got to do that. Or we want to help, a clinic that deals with special needs and making sure that, their services aren't cut, because that's happening all over many states with the crazy budgets and things that are happening. But this is a way to say, you know what? I can't control it, but what I control is how I act and how I react. So by sharing a financial exchange with someone that you do not know is what Wealth Wellness Wednesday is all about. So how do you go about doing that? I got to go up to a stranger and hand them money? No. What you can do is, it's an unsuspecting person. No, you do not know them. It's got to be someone that you don't know. It can't be your neighbor, your family member, your local charity. It has to be an unsuspecting person, because you want to impact them, right? You want to show them that humanity is good. We are redeemable. We can change the course of the outlook of someone's day. So how do you go about doing that? Well, there's several options. The typical ones I talk about that are very manageable for anyone is, and I want to be clear, it's not about the financial dollar amount. It could be $1. Everybody's got an extra dollar somewhere. You're probably, when you do your laundry, $1 pops out. We all do that, right? So it could be as little as $1. It's not about the financial amount. If it's higher, that's great, but it doesn't have to be. It's about the actual act. So commonly, a good way to do that is through either a pet food aisle, a baby aisle, a grocery aisle, and say, hey, what is one of the common things that most people buy, and how can I defray the cost of? We also know that gas, everyone needs gas, right? We know gas prices have been higher than a kite for the last, since the evildoer became into occupying the people's house, right? So that's something that impacts everyone every day, whether they're running errands, whether they're going to work, they're complaining, the gas prices keep going up, right? You can actually fold a bill, whatever the size bill you want, in the shape of, in the size of a credit card, and actually put it in where the credit card goes. So those are just some simple, easy ways to do it, but you want to make sure it's an unsuspecting person. And you may have the ability with that one little act of kindness to not only change your day, because you're going to feel good about helping somebody else out, but you're also impacting someone else out. So that's it in a nutshell. We wish everyone a happy Wealth Wellness Wednesday. My name is Carol Sue, AKA Naughty Boss, signing off with two
sisters. Hey, everyone, this is Janice, AKA Wellness Diva 6.0. Happy Flag Day. Happy birthday, President Trump. We'll talk to you all again real soon. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.